Welcome to Intelligent Artifice, the podcast that helps you become a 10x performance marketer. Intelligent Artifice explores the cutting edge of the intersection of AI, creatives, and performance marketing. Every week, we deconstruct the ad systems behind high-performing advertisers using our in-house semantic analysis system, bruteforce.ai, or we sit down with top operators redefining how advertising gets done in a generative AI world. Whether you're scaling user acquisition, leading a creative team, or building a creative engine with AI, this podcast is your unfair advantage. Intelligent Artifice is hosted by me, Shamant Rao, the founder and CEO of the boutique growth marketing agency, Rocketship HQ. You can find out more about us at rocketshiphq.com. Our services are ideal for advertisers spending over $50,000 a month on paid social. Check out the podcast website, intelligentartifice.net, or our newsletter, intelligentartifice.kit.com. Today, we are looking at Glam AI, a beauty tech app that has driven over 900K downloads and hit over $1 million in revenue in the last month. The reason I picked them, though, is not just the numbers, it's their advertising strategy, how they'll structure their ads to drive these numbers. I've analyzed 68 of their top performing video ads using our in-house AI engine, Brute Force AI, which helps surface creative patterns through deep semantic analysis. Let's get into it. These are the dimensions that we're going to review for Glam AI today and understand what exactly is it that makes their ads tick. Let's start with aspirational messaging. What does the user get to become, achieve, or express? In Glam AI's case, the primary aspiration is glamour and with ease. They communicate that by talking about how all you need is one single selfie and you get glamorized professional quality photos. There are a few common ways in which they hit these aspirations. One is the transformation itself, selfie to supermodel. They have phrasing like you are the model, and one selfie, you get a full-on photo shoot. The second aspiration is going viral, which is very different from being glamorous. But again, this is very powerful because this speaks to users that want some kind of social validation, that want to gain some modicum of professional success by going viral. The other one is also business and professional related, where it talks about how a user can get stunning product shoots and how this is a way to boost their business. So whether it's vanity, virality, or versatility, the aspirational pitch is that you can look incredible and you can do this effortlessly. The second big dimension is FOMO. Now, let's see how they trigger urgency of FOMO. What they don't do is say limited time or download now. The primary ways they trigger FOMO is by saying this micro people trend is blowing up, your viral video is ready, and again, it ties into the virality which we talked about earlier, and it creates the sense that something cool is happening right now and the app is your ticket in. The user feels like they're about to miss a cultural moment unless they act. The other FOMO angle is secret methods. No one tells you how to create this effect. Here's the secret. This creates curiosity and exclusivity at the same time, and it makes the user think that there is an advantage that other people use. It makes people think that there is an advantage that other people know about that the user might miss. Let's look at the hooks next. These are spoken, text, and visual. Spoken hooks lead with curiosity, surprise, and an element of shock. You will be shocked. Oh, what if one selfie could give you magazine quality pics? I like that they use power words like shock, which can stop a user mid-scroll. If you look at the text hooks, they focus on all caps. There are a lot of all caps here, and it leans into bold statements and speed, hundreds of pics, no retake, in one tap, effortless. Again, the effortlessness is something they lean massively into. Lastly, if you look at the visual hooks, there is quite a bit bizarre and surreal imagery. There's this giant handbag. There are other ads which show helicopters lifting gummy bears. And of course, there is the transformation where you see the contrast between the same person in the foreground and the background. This surreal scale, this contrast and novelty creates a pattern pattern interrupt, which is a very important tool to earn attention in the first couple of seconds. Next, let's look at the message sequencing patterns. There are a couple of big message arcs here: hook, transformation, outcome. Again, the ad opens with a hook which catches the user's attention, transitions into how the transformation is happening, and then shows the end result. The other one is a subtle difference, which is hook, demo, or feature, and result. It starts with the hook, and we get a mini tutorial showing the user using the app, and then the result. The third one is problem solution result. Again, you would think this would be the most common messaging arc, but apparently not. You start with a pain point, like your posts look like everybody else's, and follow this, the user, and the end impact on the user, right? That the user feels glamorous as a result of the solution. And I think it's interesting that they portray the end result or the outcome as being different from the solution. The solution is what the product does. The result is how the user experiences the outcome itself. And of course, the last one is trend and the social proof and the result. What happens when a user jumps on a trend and goes viral? Next, let's get into objection handling. Again, this is how we look at how ads handle objections even before a user has a chance to raise them. This is something we track across every advertiser. The most common objection in an app like this is, I can't do this, I don't have a team, I don't have specialized equipment, or I don't have creative skills, which is why Glam AI emphasizes effortlessness so much. No studio, no makeup, just one selfie. You don't need a camera crew. Just open the app, let the AI do its magic, right? And that's how it leans on handling the objection that this may just be too hard. What about the pain points, right? Again, this mirrors some of the objections we talked about, which is that professional photo shoots can be expensive, viral or trending content can be very difficult to create, selfies can be low quality, people feel camera shy, and a lot of AI art looks the same, which is also interesting that they touch on because they talk about how this AI is distinctive and not like any AI art. Next, let's look at transformation points. This is the payoff. This is the transformation itself. What is the user actually getting? And Glam AI uses different formats here. Selfie to glamorous photo shoot. As we've talked about, that is their most important transformation that they lean into. Next is basic to trendy or viral, which seems to be their second biggest proposition, which is you can go viral. Next is product photography, product photo to viral creative. They talk about how traditionally this can be really expensive. I paid $700. Lastly, it's one input to many high quality outputs. Now, what does all of this mean for your marketing strategy? Now, here's what I think stands out from Glam AI's creative strategy and what you can test in your own ads. One, frame your product as a secret shortcut. A lot of ads use the framing, here's the secret, to reframe a utility feature as something exclusive or an insider. Next is create visual scroll stoppers through surreal imagery or contrast. They use giant handbags, floating gummy bears, people shrinking beside their own photos. These are pattern interrupts, and they oftentimes catch users' attention. Next is using trend jacking as the angle. Now, they don't lean into generic urgency. They talk about how a trend is blowing up and everyone's doing something, and the message is don't get left behind. The next element that you can take away is punchy visual math. There's framing like one input to 10 plus glamorous outputs. That contrast and that portrayal of math is something that makes the transformation feel big and instant. They also talk about dollar amounts, $700 photo shoots, $1,500 photo shoots. That math stands out and makes the facts much more vivid and clear as compared to something that could be so much more subjective. Lastly, they say the unspoken pain point out loud, something like your posts look like everyone else's, or no one else tells you how to do this. This builds the empathy and authority. As closing thoughts, Glam AI ads are very smartly constructed. They're visually weird, structurally simple, and emotionally sharp. All of this tells you you don't need to be creative, you don't need to be camera ready, you don't even need to know what is trending, and all you need is a single selfie using Glam AI. So if you're competing in a saturated or trend-driven category, there is a lot to learn here. Make the product feel like a shortcut to belonging. Thank you again for tuning in. I'm Shamant Rao. If you like this breakdown, please share and subscribe. And for the full visual teardown and the creative library, head to the link below. See you soon.